Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Trading Brains. I'm your host, Evan Greif, and here with my co-host.
Angelo and I, how's everything, guys?
Yeah, how's
Long
everything? It's
time no see.
crazy COVID times, and the things are tense in America right now, and around the world. But we're here, we're back to
Different
another episode. It's been a while.
career
What?
changes, a lot.
Yeah,
Just basically adapt,
adapt.
adapt,
Yeah,
divide, conquer.
of course. We have been busy, and that's our excuse for not putting out an episode in a while. But again, we're here now finally, and we're really excited about this topic specifically because you guys know we talk about video games a lot, and this time we're going to be talking about the new generation of consoles and how that relates to something like PC or even competing with the Switch, which is still it was technically like a current gen, but who knows what Nintendo has in the works. Um, and yeah, but to start, let's just talk about PS5 and Xbox Series X. Yeah. So I'm just gonna list off like some stats. PS5 price is 499 US dollars. It's a pretty hefty tag. Um, I mean, I think the PS4 was around 400, around 500, depending on if you got like a combo set with like two games or whatever.
Hmm. They're going to be bundles on what kind of games they're going to do, what kind of games they're going to push, anyways. So,
Yeah, absolutely. I'm like honestly like this is the standard price that you're gonna get for a PS5 and like one controller probably and maybe one
of
game.
course.
It's got pretty large hard drive, so it's 825 gigabyte solid state drive, and as many of you might know, solid state drives are really fast. Um, and they run a lot quicker than regular hard drives, so games will be able to load up a lot quicker than in the past, and I'm really excited for that kind of power because my PS4 is the original PS4, and honestly, it feels like it takes forever to start up a game and start playing.
And for a while, you kind of had to bring it up from the dead.
Yeah, exactly. It was yeah for a while there it wasn't working. Granted, that was like an audiovisual issue, but still, like now it's making random beep noises, and it's just I think it's time to put it to bed. Even though I still have games that I want to play. But anyway, we're here not to talk about my dying PS4. We're here to talk about the new systems, right?
The new
So
hip.
yeah, the new hip, uh, you know, cutting edge future tech. Uh, but moving on, we have an 8-core AMD Zen 2 PC CPU paired with a custom Radeon GPU, giving it ray tracing and 4K rendering capabilities. Now, all of that is just nerd speak for saying it's really powerful and it can handle a lot of memory processing and video audiovisual processing and uh, having 4K rendering capabilities. That's pretty big news because if you've got a 4K TV, it's going to look really nice. Now, if you're a gamer, typically you don't even want a TV, right? You want to just get like a 4K monitor. Um,
Mm.
but again, that's pretty impressive, especially for something that's not a PC rig and still is at the price of like 500 bucks. And then, lastly, like among the important stats, we've got 16 gigabytes of memory, so random access memory. I mean that's decent. I think the Xbox might have around the same, or the new Xbox.
When we get into it, I'll talk a little bit more.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's exactly the same thing.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So let's get into the features of the PS5 now, right? Because it's really, at this point, these are the differentiators, I would say.
Of course.
So PS5, let's compare it to like the PS4. When you start up the PS4, you have the main menu where you see a list of squares that are all your apps, the games that you play, and then there's also a menu where you can pick your what is it like your profile, your PSN profile, change system settings, all that stuff. But Control Center has cards that lets you choose something to do based on what actions you took recently. So if you recently watched like a show on Netflix, they'll probably show up a card that says like, "Hey, you watched this show, so why don't you check out this show?" Or if you played a game recently, it'll say, "Hey, why don't you pick up where you left off here?" Right? and you could if you took a screenshot, maybe you'll get asked if you want to like share it with your friends or on your social media. So I think that feature is pretty cool. I mean, it just like it's cool because you can suspend your games and then
come back.
You don't even have to save. Like you don't have to save and then
it kind of like already
basically auto save. Yeah. So I think a lot of games are gonna have that feature pretty much built in, and even if you're not auto saving, like a lot of games can be suspended and then just gone back into from the control center. Yeah. So again, like I said, the cards can bring you back into the game, and it even gives you an estimate of how long the like specific level or the activity in the game is going to take for you to like complete the level. So at least for like Sackboy was the example that they gave. It said like estimated 5 minutes or estimated 10 minutes, something like that, which is pretty cool because like if you're playing a game and you have a limited amount of time to play that game, let's say you have like 30 minutes to kill or 45 minutes to kill, then it's actually kind of helpful to know like, oh, how long this level just about would take, right? So you don't have to think like, oh, I have to stop partway or whatever.
And this actually could get like a little quick game in or a quick level. Oh, let me get it to a couple of levels. If you only have 30 minutes a day that you could do, I think that's actually a smart feature to have.
Yeah, it is. I hope a lot of developers support it because a lot of these features are not the control center, but these cards, the game activity cards. A lot of these features are supported by the developers. And moving along with that, right? Some developers can support something called Game Help, which PS5 introduced, and basically what it is like short video clip guides to completing certain tasks, like getting a trophy or collectibles, or something hidden in the game that you might want to do that isn't necessarily required, but again, you can get these video guides, and I think this is a good thing for gamers because you don't have to go on YouTube and search like how do I find this item or how do I gather this item or how do I complete this level, but that might hurt actual like channels of content creators who make their living based on creating like game guides. Yeah. Yeah, what do you think?
I think, but with the game guides or like content creators want to do like a walkthrough, I still think with Twitch and the streaming portal still up like that, I think if we still taking it out of the equipment, it won't hinder them. I think it's just in the beginning, it will be kind of like a week to a month gap. Then when they get into it, I think they're going to find out every loophole. There's always a loophole in something to find out, and they'll find it the correct way of doing it. I think it's just some time will be buffered.
Yeah. What I also think is that these game guides are probably going to be very simple, and they're probably showing you stuff that generally you could figure out on your own. And I think they're not. I mean, I doubt that the developers are going to go super in deep into it and create like guides to do this very niche or difficult to complete task, right? Because then the video just gets longer and more convoluted. So I think content creators are still going to be able to make that sort of content and maybe even be consulted on how to create the guides.
Or instead of being like walkthrough, I think it just be like different kind of builds and why it's so important. I think the content will be different than instead of just being walkthroughs. It will be probably based on levels completions or little like hidden gems and show you how to get it. Like for Destiny, like all the ghosts, the lost ghosts to find.
Yeah. That'd be cool. Yeah,
it would be a little bit more specific.
I remember having to YouTube all of those ghosts, and that was not fun.
I'm still getting to them Beyond Light, even though I haven't played Destiny 2 in a while, but part of me still wants to get back into it.
Yeah, part of me does too, Angelo. I know I fell off for a while, but like, part of me does want to get back into it.
It's just the raid, finding 6 people, but
yeah, the raid is and the time commitment too. Yeah, we'll get to that. Yeah. My favorite feature that PS5 announced was the picture-in-picture feature. So picture-in-picture is like you could be playing your own game, and if you want to share your gameplay with one of your friends, then you can immediately just go into a party. If one of your friends creates a party, you can share your gameplay with them, and then when you're sharing with them, they can actually put it in like a corner of their screen and move it wherever they want. So they're getting a small kind of like live stream of your game while they're playing their own game. So like,
Yeah.
let's say you're talking to someone and they're sharing their game with you of a game that you've already played, and they're asking for help.
Mm-hmm.
And you have like normally you would have to describe to them like what they have to do or like where to go, whatever. But then now they can actually just share their gameplay with you, so you could see their game, their screen, and what's what's going on there.
Like,
and what they're
right here at this hallway and telling you like step by step and
Yeah.
actually walking through it.
Yeah, and honestly, it's kind of fun that way because like you could just be focusing on your game, but also your friend's playing his own game. You could look to his screen or complete, play your game. And I thought that was really cool. Another thing, actually, that I'm really excited about is that because of the performance of the new machine, you can actually suspend multiple games at a time. Again, it's if the developers support it, but yeah, you can suspend more than one app or one card, I guess is what they call them, and that's really cool because, like we said earlier, you don't have to save. You can just go back into the game right away.
Yeah. 100%. That's actually can come in clutch. Depends on if you like playing multiple games. You can play a little bit here, pause it, play the next game, and you don't have to get rid of the app. Because on PlayStation 4, in order to play, like sometimes I like playing FIFA and Call of Duty. I have to turn off the application Call of Duty to go into FIFA 21 or FIFA 20 at the time, and that just gets annoying. If I can just pause it and just suspend and turn on another game right there, and I could just constantly back and forth. I think that would be very good, easier.
Yeah, and like we were saying earlier, it would reduce your load time because with the PS4, each time you're closing an app and then relaunching one from scratch. So, yeah. I think both consoles announced this, but PS4 has backwards compatibility, except for like a few minor titles.
Yeah, I definitely Xbox has the same thing of backward compatibility.
Yeah, I think they do. And then you can take screenshots in 4K, which is pretty cool, very high quality. Share it on social media. I typically don't take pictures in game. Maybe I could start doing that, but it's just not something I've done before. Whatever, it's still a cool feature.
Yeah, the screenshot you could in PS4 is just not. If your TV's on 4K or the HDMI is on 4K, then it'd be different. But
another one of my favorite features besides picture-in-picture is the fact that you can now send chat messages by voice recognition, right? So while you're playing the game, you just do a quick hit the record button, say what you want to say, and then it'll just translate it, to whatever you're saying. The only problem here is like, privacy. People probably don't want their gaming console to be listening to what they're saying or,
of course,
analyzing their voice and understanding it. So, I mean, obviously, if security-wise, if they're keeping the voice data locally only, like on that machine, then I don't see why it's a problem, and I think it's a good feature. But I can see why some people would be wary of that.
Okay, I definitely see a little bit different than that.
So, what about you?
For like the whole as a whole, PlayStation, like, or the backward compatibility. Like with the voice recognition for me.
I was talking about the voice recognition. Yeah.
Yeah, for the I'm saying like the voice recognition for me, I don't like I don't rarely send texts or text messages to people. I just try to just invite them to a party and start talking to them. So
yeah, no,
for
that
that,
makes
just
sense.
a nice feature to have. It's just like a bonus for me. It's not like, oh my god, but it's nice to have. So
yeah, I agree. Yeah, most times when I'm playing with friends, like I just immediately default to joining a party with them because it's much easier to communicate that way, and you don't have to keep opening up a text screen on your window while you're playing a game.
of course, that's why.
Yeah.
Just like, oh, okay.
Yeah. So everyone knows on PlayStation you have PS Plus, Xbox you have I think it's called Game Pass.
Yeah.
And for PS Plus, if you have PS Plus, you can get a bunch of games from PS4. I think on launch of the PS5, it's like God of War, Bloodborne, Persona 5, Resident Evil 7, Monster Hunter World,
those
Yeah.
those
Final
are very
Fantasy 15.
Yeah.
Fallout 4, that's a good one. And Infamous Second Son. I mean, that was one of the first PS4 games that came out, so whoop-de-doo. But I think like the first couple of games, Bloodborne was really popular. Persona 5 was actually really popular, and Dad of War, not God of War. It's Dad of War. That's what it should be called. Dad of War is really good.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean that's the PS5 in a nutshell. I'd say most of the features we covered.
Yeah, and then like going from PlayStation 5, like you have your competitors. Like every year, these two are the top two. Yes, you can include PC in it, but PC is a whole new. I feel like a whole new beast compared to these two consoles.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why they call it the console wars.
Yeah, but like you have the Xbox X Series price kind of the same, $499. It has an 8-core AMD Zen 2 processor with custom RDNA to AMD GPU, giving that good ray tracing and 4K, potentially 8K rendering. Kind of like similar with the PlayStation 5, but if it has the potential of being 8K, I haven't seen that just done.
That's a leg up if they get it. Yeah. But I think like good. Generally very similar there.
Yes. The cooling systems, it's a great cooling system is going to be running very quiet, so it's not going to be very lousy. You're not going to hear that fan being overpowered. Power, 1 terabyte storage. Yeah, of course you're going to take some out from like the system or administrative from the Xbox, so it's not going to be 1 gig, but you're going to have majority of it, about 80 to 90% of it usable. Yeah. And the same thing with the memory drive with the 16 gigabytes, the GDDR6 memory. So the same that PlayStation 5 have. Yeah. Backward compatibility. They have something different called Smart Delivery. And doing some research on it, because like when we first saw it, we wanted to do some research on it because Smart Delivery is like, okay, cool, what is it? And basically, it's if you bought the game, let's just say for Xbox One, you can bring it into the X Series, and you will have the best version of that game, whatever system you have. So if you bought it at the Xbox One and you want to bring it over, that's a Smart Delivery. And certain games has that, so the developers have to be okay with it, because you can't just buy that game again. So like Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Sea of Thieves, Borderlands, Gears 5, like those type of games, Watch Dogs, Yakuza, Dirt 5, those have the games of that you could bring back and forth to Smart Delivery.
All
right. Halo Infinite was scheduled to release on that date, but now it's put back for next year.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm pretty okay with that.
Yeah.
I mean, like, if they're improving the game, then...
Yeah, they need to rebirth Halo again. Hopefully they can, because they did lose. So like I used to play Xbox 360, so when Halo was out, that was...
Yeah, I want the glory days to be back, man. That's the only reason I play Destiny, because like I long for the days of Halo 3 online multiplayer.
Kind of like a patch.
Yeah.
Until Halo comes back.
But yeah.
For us, that never happened. Bethesda recently bought Microsoft, or Microsoft. So
yeah. Bethesda got bought.
So that can be... Doom Eternal was also added to the Game Pass, so you can expect certain titles to Bethesda be into Xbox exclusive games, since they are partnering us since they bought Xbox out. So, but like with these type of other games, like with Xbox, like a lot of people do the memes of the two different systems, because why not? Because one, funny for comic relief. And comic relief, and also it always had that little nice divide. Oh, you're an Xbox player. Oh, you're a PlayStation 5. It's always a nice little play on with each other.
Yeah, and it's funny because like you have diehard fans, but you also have people who are like, all right, what's better this time around, you know? And I'm definitely more like, what's better this time around?
Yeah, now I'll get to the stage at what's better, but also like there's people still want to get one of everything. Like,
yeah,
at
true.
some point, I got one of everything. I still do have one of everything, but now when I might just sell all of them to get into whatever I want.
Right. Yeah, I mean, kudos on, you know, if you have the money and you want all of them, go for it.
By all means, yeah.
Yeah.
Why not? Because you can only benefit because you have the exclusive. Don't buy the same game because then you're just throwing money in the pit. But
yeah.
Honestly, I think if you could get the exclusive, that can be worth your while.
Yeah, absolutely.
But besides, like with the whole point of these two, what would you pick between Xbox or PlayStation?
I mean, living in Japan, I'm sure it would be easier to own a PS5, but just looking at the games that are available on the Game Pass on the Xbox Series X, I'm kind of leaning towards it. I mean, it also has Halo Infinite, right? And I think if we're gonna play Destiny 2, like Destiny 2, I don't think is leaning towards Sony only anymore. You know what I mean? Like I don't think they're trying to pull like a let's stay exclusive to there because they're also on PC now. So like it doesn't make sense.
And I still want to know if they're going to do the cross-platform still, because I know they're doing that with Warzone, but are they doing that with other games? If that's the case, then I might just go with Xbox, but I still have majority of my friends on PlayStation.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. I wanted to get into that too because I have a friend, you know, Michael Connolly. He texted me just this morning saying like, Evan, what console you're gonna get because that's gonna affect my decision because I want to be on the console that all my friends are on, and like you said earlier, like we said earlier, like there's gonna be people who are diehard this one only or diehard this one only or get both, right?
Yeah.
And I remember when we were younger, you know, we always had to coordinate and say like, okay, we're gonna get, you know, this.
We're all getting this.
That's what the whole South Park episode was about, you know. Yeah.
But like that's like the case. It's like now is at the point. It's like yeah, I'm getting this, but like if everything isn't backward compatible, just got what you want. Not backward compatible, cross-platform.
Yeah. I think if Xbox has something like picture-in-picture or even some other like cool features that I don't know about yet or that we haven't discussed, like I might just lean Xbox. But again, I'm living in Japan, so I'll have to see how that works. If I have to like make a new account or.
Yeah. And like with the prices, it's gonna drop anyways after Christmas or in a year or so, anyways, because it's gonna be released soon. So like people are gonna wait. So
we can also consider the fact that some people may even wait until there's like a pro version, right? Because I know like some people don't even like getting consoles on day one launch. Yeah.
Or actually, people just don't get the consoles anymore, and they just go to PCs because now PCs is one. Now they're all building their own PCs now.
Yeah, there's also places you can buy like pre-built PCs, and I think a lot of people opt for that too because tinkering with your own PC, like it's fun, of course, but it's also a time commitment, right? You have to understand that you have to learn how the PC is going to function so that you don't break it when you're building your PC. And yeah, it's a really cool project. You spend like a certain amount of money on certain things, and it's very customized because you make it by the parts that you get yourself.
I do agree with you with that because like either you can be your master of your own PC because you can build your own, but then if you're stuck, you kind of do need that like help either from a friend or actually just if you don't want the headache, just buy it, spend the extra cash. Which I know some people do that.
Yeah. Me personally, I think I'd like to build my own PC at some point. Definitely, but right now, like with the way I'm living in my current apartment, it's just not something I'm looking to do. I don't want to have this huge tower where eventually at some point, I have to ship it and make sure it's safe and doesn't break and all that stuff. So
I'm
You know,
probably gonna wait when I move into an apartment. So I'm thinking about like, maybe later on. Okay, that's gonna be my next project.
yeah. It's something that's there that I'm always going to consider. Right now, what I have works for me. I have a gaming laptop,
Mm-hmm.
and I use that all the time if I'm playing games with my friends. I think what I'm going to do is like stream from my uh, other computer, so that way I don't have to take away any performance from the gaming laptop.
Okay.
Yeah, to do the upload.
Okay. No. With the gaming laptop, I think it's great because it's portable. But like, does it support everything that you have been doing with the gaming, like streaming wise? If that does, you really don't need right now. That is a good placeholder until you do have the room for the gaming tower and all that stuff.
Yeah, right now it is a great placeholder. Generally, it can run any game that I play. I think I should probably reduce some of this like quality settings or settings that consume a lot of uh,
Mm-hmm.
memory or CPU because my computer recently warned me that like the battery is getting too hot, so it's gonna start dying, and you should be careful. And I'm like, God damn it! Like, I spent I spent like $1.50 on this, and it's fucking dying. What? But
Right.
anyway, it is what it is. Like, I should have just built a PC from the start. Like you said, though, it's a good placeholder, and it does play. I get to play the games. I get to play GTA
Mm-hmm.
5. I get to play, Vermintide. I get to play whatever games I want to play.
Yeah, and that's what matters the most. If
That's
you're
fine.
able to play all your games, there's no worries.
Yeah, and if I don't take any like uh, bandwidth from the gaming laptop and I just stream via my other laptop, then it's totally fine. I don't think the stream would take any performing power or performance from the gaming laptop.
That's what's up. Okay. I have no other questions between the two. I know as of right now, it's kind of gonna be if I had to pick between the two, besides building my own PC, that's a later date. Um, I think I have to take a vote with all my friends of who is getting what and what,
Yeah,
and
yeah. Got to take
go
a
with
tally. Yeah,
regarding role.
I
Because I
think
know
I think that's
if
really
I
the only
get
things you do.
the main two things is FIFA and Call of Duty at the moment. Call of Duty is a cross-platform, so that's really I don't care.
Yeah, it's not
And
exclusive.
FIFA, basically, I'm kind of split. I have 5 friends in PlayStation, 5 friends in Xbox that I can play with.
Mm.
If that does that cross-platform, you can make that team together. But unless you can convert people over from one side to the other. But I know
Yeah,
people are very adamant on what.
yeah, exactly. Well, some people might switch, and I think you should just go with the one that has the most, amount of people that you want to play with, or the people you really want to be playing with.
Mm-hmm.
I think a game like FIFA should be crossplay, but again, like it's up to Sony and Microsoft to decide what's going to be crossplay and what's not. And I mean, the whole point of them putting out consoles that are competing with each other is that they don't have crossplay, right? It
Exactly.
doesn't. Yeah.
I'm just doing like research right now. Just would not support. It's a long-term goal, but as of right now, it's not supporting it.
Yeah, I mean, they're not. Both companies, I think, are not trying to invest in the infrastructure for it. And I'm sure if they decided to do it, one of them would probably feel like they got the short stick of the deal.
It's not like for me. It's like it's not. They're not gonna lose any money if they do crossplay.
Yeah, I mean, I think more people would actually start buying, or they would be less reserved about buying one console over the other.
Mm-hmm. That's fun. But
But
do you
yeah,
have anything to
that's
add about these two, or you have which one? You're basically on the same boat with me with the whole um
yeah. I mean, I'm
basically
torn. I'm torn
majority
still.
rule.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm torn still, and I'm basically gonna go with like what my friends are gonna buy. But the problem is, I think a lot of my friends are also thinking that, right? So everyone's waiting for someone else to pull the trigger, right? um, like I said earlier, if the Xbox Series X comes out with like another feature that I think is way more useful than PS5, and I don't care about PS5's exclusives, I'll probably go with Xbox. And that's the thing. It's so interesting because I had a PS2 and I did have an Xbox, but then after that I only bought 360. I didn't have a PS3, and then I bought PS4 because, Bungie got
I
screwed
bought
over.
a 360. My brother bought a PlayStation 3, and we kind of like whatever. But then it was just like, we're just going to buy the same game because my brother would just take my hand-me-downs. And then now he just uses his PlayStation just to watch movies.
Yeah. And like after buying the PS4, like I was really happy with my PS4 purchase, and I thought I was going to stick with PlayStation, but at this point, like, Xbox is also looking really good in terms of its competitiveness with the PS5. But again, it goes back to, what are my friends going to get? And I think every person should consider that.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. Or everyone just, abandon ship, go PC.
You play with everyone, so that's that.
Yeah.
Take everything.
I mean, you honestly, if you go only PC, you're only losing console exclusives, right?
Yeah, but then if everyone goes PCs and they can't have consoles, they are forced to go into consoles.
Yeah. I still enjoy playing with a controller rather than mouse and keyboard.
With PCs, you can still now put into a controller and still have that controller feel. You don't have
For sure.
You don't need a keyboard. You just.
Yeah, it's just, honestly, if you're playing like a gun game, if you're playing an FPS, you're at a disadvantage, and no matter what, mouse and keyboard.
But also that's when you need the controller play. You need a controller, especially with sports games too.
Yeah, I would say that too. I feel like mouse and keyboard would be really hard to play with, like a FIFA game or something like that. So yeah, it depends on the genre too. Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. Well, yeah, that's it from my side. I don't know if you have anything else.
I have nothing else. But guys, I know it's a little while. We'll try to be a little bit better. We want to produce more content. We just have to adapt on this circumstance, what's going on.
Yeah, of course. I mean, again, it's just about making sure that we can understand each other's schedule and work around.
But also, like, this was always has been fun. It always has been. We have been doing this for actually more than
a year?
Two, close to getting on to two, pushing to two. So.
I think we started in like June of last year, I want to say, or May.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. So where we are today is just fantastic. So now we're just moving forward.
Exactly. Cool. Well, everybody, you can reach us at tradingbrainspodcast@gmail.com, and we have our page on social media: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, you name it. And we'll have all of those social media links in the description of the show, and you can reach out to us on there. And please let us know if you have any content suggestions, or if you want to hear about something specific, let us know, and we'd love to talk about it. And we'll keep coming at you with new shows. Now, probably every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. And we'll work on a little bit better too, or work to be more release friendly, or once a week and all that stuff. So whatever the case may be. But have a good week, guys. Stay tuned for more episodes and or any updates that we will post about.
That's the good word. That's the good word. Yeah. Peace out, everybody. Thanks for joining. Bye-bye.